Hi, this is the Trade Ideas market recap for Wednesday, March the 26th. My name is Barry Anderson, and I'm the moderator of the Trade Ideas Trading Room. This is the address to get into the room, and you can log in as a guest, or you can use your Facebook or your Twitter account to log in. Well, let's get right to the charts. And actually, the first chart I want to bring up is the SPY. And because it really had an impact on our trading today. And all this gray area here is the post markets or the aftermarket. So this is the post market yesterday. This is where SPY closed yesterday. This is this white line right here. And so you can see that it opened strongly today. This is the pre-market, and you can see that it did open strongly today. But it was definitely, after this first, hour or so of chopping around, it definitely had a downtrend for most of the morning and into the early afternoon. And but again, it looked like it was holding its own. But then all of a sudden, around 1:30, it really took a header. And again, this white line is where it closed yesterday, and it blew right through that, and basically had a downward trend for the rest of the day, except for this little jog up. I actually had mentioned to the room that if it got above, it had to get back up to 186, right up to, if it could break up over this level, I might get interested again in our bounce plays, but. It held there very briefly. These are 2-minute candles, so it only held there very briefly. And the market is still open as I'm doing this video, so you can see it is really probably going to close on the low of the day by 4 o'clock. So yes, it had a couple of attempts to get back, but really in a downturn. So we'll have to see what happens tomorrow. But all this area here, very tough to play the bounce plays, and especially of course here. But let me just show you a couple of the trades that I did take today. And the first trade was PepsiCo. Now, let me just bring it in here. Now, these came from my 20-day high break top list, which is still doing really well for me. And surprisingly, on a day like today, to be frank with you, because you would have thought maybe my 20-day low break would have done better. But I really had a couple of really nice trades out of this top list. So the first trade was PepsiCo. Now, again, if you don't know what this is all about, basically I'm looking for a break of the 20-day high. Now I can see right here, and remember the market is so live now that it's gone below that now, but Pepsi or PEP, Pep's 20-day high was 82.98. And that is the trigger. And what will happen, and maybe if we're lucky, as we still have a few minutes left in the market, this might, if it goes back up to 82.98, you're going to see this turn to blue. But at any rate, that's my trigger. When the stock hits its 20-day high, there are other filters in place, but that is what's going to alert me that this could be a buy. And so what happened is, it happened right here. And you can see this beautiful volume surge at the same time. I mean, a big, big volume spike when it happened, broke through the whole number. I actually said to the room that a lot of times I will wait for the second break through the whole number. But it basically, when I saw this, it got me into the trade. Now, what happened though is that these are 2-minute candles, and the next 2-minute candles started a downturn. So I was wondering if I got nailed in one of the classic failed breakouts. But what kept me in it was this volume surge, because usually what I'll do is, here's the 82.98. That usually is going to be my stop. And you can see right here that the stock traded down to 82.94. If you look on the right hand side over here at 82.94. But because of this volume surge, I decided to keep in the trade. And I was definitely rewarded. I mean, it basically did nothing for a fair amount of time, and then we started getting some surges here, and I took actually half out at 82.93. I'm sorry, 83, 82.93, 83.23. I held on, and we got my last half was out at 83.63 as it went back down through this level. So a really good trade, and you can see that it basically collapsed the rest of the day. I'm hoping maybe we get it back up to 82.98 so you can see how it turns, but if it doesn't, it doesn't. Now the next trade I took was CTL, and again, right from this list here. And Go back here and you can see again CTL's trigger was 3201. So once it got above 3201, now this time I did wait for the second break through 32 because you see it broke here and then it came back down. And so I waited for the second break and this time I took the trade at 3202. And again, I actually mentioned in the room, I mean, this really did nothing for a long time. It just traded sideways, and I was actually said this is a real sleeper of a trade. But I kept in the trade because I was still up on the day for it. You know, I wasn't down below. If it had done all this down in this level here, I probably, below my buy, I probably would have got out of the trade. But because I was still above my buy-in, there was really no reason to get out of the trade. So anyway, I watched it take this little volumes or little pop here. Here was some volume right here, which I thought, okay, maybe this is going to lead to something, and it basically did. And so I got out of the trade, half of it at 32.37. Held on and then got out of the second half at 32.47. Watch it go up once, and then when it came back down again, I got out on this red candle here at 32.47. So two really nice trades from my 20-day high break. And people ask me, like, why do I even I mean, maybe it's obvious why I'm doing this, but this is why I do the evening scan. I do an evening scan so that I can be prepared the next day for the eventual, well, sometimes my other strategies aren't working or I'm not getting great alerts from them, but I always feel that I'm better prepared if I have something to look forward to the next day. So I always have this watch list, and when they break, generally I will take the trade if it comes from a good pattern. And so I was definitely rewarded today on these two trades. Now, the last trade that I posted in the room was one that didn't work. And EXP, actually, I've been alerted to this by the room. I think some bought it in this area or maybe even this area on a bounce. So I'd had it on my radar to watch the stock. And when it did this, see this little pullback here, and then the break above this area right there. So there was the top right there. So when it had the little pullback and a little consolidation, when it broke above 84.50 or this area here, I took the trade. And so I took the trade at 84.50, and immediately it spiked up, and I sure wish I had taken out taken out there, but I didn't. Now this was very, very spready, and when I say spready, I mean the difference between the bid and the ask was even when I took the trade was quite large. So I didn't really have very much of this, but I was hoping maybe it could tack on $1, even $2, if depending on what the market would do. But it didn't do that, and I exited at 84.25 for a 25-cent loss. But again, didn't have very many shares of it, so it wasn't that damaging. Now, the last trade I just want to take a look, it wasn't a trade, but the stock I want to take a look at is DGX. Now, DGX had been alerted in the room to us by one of our new traders, Dillian. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but Dillian. And he alerted the room to the bounce potential of this, and I know some took it, and I think it probably was right at this level here. Now, one of the reasons why it, first of all, didn't come up on my top list that I have for bounces, even though it looks like it fit the bill because it had the definitely had the nice downturn, but it was up for the day. And generally speaking, I on my bounce plays, the stocks have to be down for the day, and you can see, I mean, this was above the close, is what I'm saying. So this was above the close, and usually my bounce plays they have to be below the close. But at any rate, this worked out beautifully for a lot of people. I think you could have made almost $1 if you take it in this level. So anyway, this was on my radar then, and so what happened is I saw at this right here. I saw this, let me make sure that's right. Yes, 5809. So I saw right here we had this huge volume spike. And so I thought, okay, maybe this could be the start of something because it held this level, and it had been up in this area before. So I thought, well, maybe, I mean, somebody wanted this stock awfully badly, and it didn't move the price hardly at all. I mean, 4 cents. So that's usually a signal to me when you get a big volume spike and there's hardly a move that I will certainly start watching the stock. But let me just bring up the SPY. SPY did this. So this is where the volume spike happened, right here. Now you can see here that the SPY, yeah, it'd been moving down from this level, but it kind of been holding its own. But notice right here, this is when the SPY started really moving down. This light blue line is when it really started moving down. So this really didn't turn out to be. I didn't take the trade, but I had told the room that I was probably going to take the trade if it was able to get over this mark right here, which was, let's see, I think it was 58.12, and it never did that. It tried a couple of times, and even back here, we thought we had a nice volume spike or a little bit of a spike here that got it over the 58, but it never could break it. And I get this the market was just too strong. Well, strong on the weak side, okay? And so it really just couldn't break free. So, but anyway, I guess all I'm really trying to show you here is that when you get a huge volume spike like that and no hardly any price movement, it's probably a good idea to keep an eye on the stock to see if eventually it does have the move off this volume spike. Well, that is it for today. And let me just bring back the cover sheet again. And here's the address to get into the room. Log in as a guest or use your Facebook or Twitter account to log in. So I hope to see you in the room tomorrow and good trading on Thursday.